Hello, my name is Seth Yolorda, and I am an organizational development consultant. And what that means is I work with leaders and individuals within organizations to really help them optimize their performance so they can achieve both their organizational goals and their individual goals. And something that I've learned is that everyone wants to achieve high results. We live in a world where people want to achieve things. They want to be known, they want success, they want to be able to achieve and accomplish the dreams, either individually or within an organization. People want to, and you're no different than them, we all want to achieve high levels of performance and high levels of success. Now, what determines whether or not someone actually achieves those high levels of results are a number of factors, but one that I think is really just kind of top of mind for me right now during this season is fear. I think that fear is probably one of the primary determinants of whether or not you actually achieve your goals. So many people are constrained by fear. They don't live out their dreams and their goals. They don't pursue things. They don't take their risk because of this thing called fear. Now, there's an old acronym that says fear is false evidence appearing real. And I understand what that's trying to get at, but in reality, fear for most of us is very real, right? It is extremely real. It is something that just can either keep us up at night, it's something that can paralyze us, like that deer caught in the headlights, or it's something that can really just restrict us from really taking the necessary steps to achieve the very things that we know in our heart we really want to go after. I mean, there's some things that I wrestle with in my own life and some challenges that I've had that are really driven by fear. And in working with coaches and working with mentors, I've had to acknowledge them, and then I've had to overcome them in order for me to continue pursuing my goals. Just the mere fact that I pushed record on this YouTube video, it is me saying I'm going to overcome the fear of being concerned about whether or not this video turns out the best way it possibly can, or whether or not people watch it or like it. I'm just going to push record. In everything that we do and in every way that we live our life, we are constantly having to negotiate and wrestle with this thing called fear. And one really good way to really illustrate what we experience with fear is if you really think about your life as being on an island. This island is surrounded by water, and that water is fear. And what that basically means is that you can go no farther than the water will allow you. You have your island, and you can't just go walking on water. Like, we're not Jesus. We can't just go walking on water. We are constrained and confined by how much water is surrounding our island. Now, some people, their island is huge. Their island is actually more like a continent, because they have pushed out fear so far that they have so much freedom in their life that fear doesn't really even play a role in their life. But then some people, their island is so small that they can't even leave the house without confronting fear. And that's the reality of what you and I wrestle with, is how big is our island? And what I wanted to do is just come on and just talk with you a little bit about how you can overcome this thing called fear, how you can push the boundary, and really just work to ensure that you are living a life of abundance and that you're living a life of freedom, and that the decisions that you make are not being restrained or constrained by this thing called fear. Now, the first thing you need to do is understand the boundaries. So you really need to understand, how big is my island? And one way that we can do that is by taking a journal and just beginning to write down all of the things that you're dreaming about. All of the things, like, if there were no budgets, if there was no sky was the limit, if there were no restraints, what exactly would you live? How you would live your life? What would you do? Where would you want to go? And just start to dream. And what you'll realize is that your brain has two different components. And I'm not talking about the left side or the right side. I'm talking about two psychological constructs are taking place with inside of your brain. Your brain, on one hand, is a dream factory. Your brain loves to dream. And the dream factory was probably most active when you were a child. You know, I have 3 small daughters, and they are constantly dreaming of things to do every single day, all day long. In fact, even this morning, one of them was trying to operate on me because she wants to be a doctor. She's just dreaming of things that she wants to achieve in her life. And for you, it's no different. That your brain, when you were young, it was a dream factory. It would produce hundreds, if not thousands, of dreams every day, every week, every month. You were just dreaming of things that you wanted to experience and achieve in life. That's one side of your brain. The other side of your brain is a reason factory. And what it does is it gives you 101 reasons why you cannot achieve your dreams. My coach actually calls it a gatekeeper. It's that part of your brain which, when the dream factory produces a dream, the gatekeeper then produces a reason why you can't accomplish that dream. Now, when you were young, that reason factor really wasn't that active. In fact, it only became more active when you started hanging around older adults or other kids whose reason factory was hyperactive. And so when you were young, your dream factory was just buzzing and it was active and it was producing all these dreams. But the older you got, you began to realize that the dream factory really isn't the only component of your brain that's working. There's also a reason factory, which is giving you 100 reasons why you can't accomplish your dreams. And over time, your dream factory began to slow down and your reason factory began to speed up. And for most of us, we live our life with a very active reason factory, which gives us 101 reasons, legitimate reasons, why we can't achieve the dreams that we set out to achieve. And what I want you to do is, in order to expand your island and to turn your island from just a small piece of land in the middle of an ocean to a continent, is you have to begin to activate that dream factory again. And you need to begin to shut down that reason factory. Now, one way to do this is to hang around other people whose dream factory is operating at a very high level. You have to hang around other dreamers, because what happens when you hang around other dreamers is it's almost like osmosis or something. Their dreams start to spark your dreams, and you start to realize, wow, maybe it is possible. And the dream factory begins to get energized over and over again, and you start to pump out dreams. The other thing you have to do is you have to start limiting your exposure to people whose reason factory is hyperactive. You don't want to hang around people who are constantly giving you reasons why you cannot pursue your dreams. No, you want to hang around people who they see the sky is the limit. They see a reason for why you can achieve the things that you set out to achieve, and not a reason why you cannot achieve the things. So one of the first things to do to expand your island is just to start to write down all of the dreams that you once had, and then begin to surround yourself with other dreamers. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, I look through my phone contact list and I don't see many dreamers, or I, go to work and I'm not surrounded by any dreamers. Everyone that I'm surrounded by is kind of like a negative Nancy, or someone who their reasoning factory is hyperactive. What do I do? Let me tell you, there are so many people out there whose dream factories are buzzing. You just have to find them. You can find them on YouTube, finding individuals who you might not necessarily know one-on-one, but you're exposing yourself to the way that they think, and they're empowering you and equipping you with thoughts. Find good books that are really inspiring, and find out who the author is, and start following that author on Twitter, or start following that author on social media, and seeing other people who are following that author, and start following them. And then basically you are surrounding yourself, maybe not one-on-one again, but you're surrounding yourself online with individuals who just think differently. So if you want to expand your island so that you are no longer constrained by an ocean of fear, but that you have a huge landmass that you're able to operate in, then you have to activate your dream factory. And you have to surround yourself with other dreamers. Now, I'm one who is constantly trying to dream, and I recognize the struggle. I recognize that for most of us, this doesn't come easy. It's not something that we naturally do. I recognize that sometimes we slip back into our old habits, and that's okay. It's okay to slip back into your old habits as long as you know and you can recognize, wait, I'm knee deep in the reason factory right now, and I want to shut this thing down and get back into the dream factory. So I really want to encourage you to, every day you have a journal, you're writing down your dreams, you're writing down your goals. What is that impossible goal that you want to accomplish the rest of this year? Write it down, and every single day write it down. And when you feel like there's a reason why you can't accomplish that goal, strike that reason off and say, you know what, I'm not going to give attention or energy to the negative ideas that come from this reason factory. I'm going to continue to think about ways I can accomplish this dream, and surround myself with maybe other people who have also accomplished very similar dreams. So to experience high levels of personal performance and even organizational performance, you have to live with an intentionality where you are constantly trying to push the water out and enlarge your island so that your island looks less like a landmass surrounded by so much water and it looks more like a continent where all you see is land and possibility and dreams. If this was helpful to you in any way, please just leave a comment or like and subscribe to this video and let me know what your dreams are. I would love to be one of those individuals who helps your dreams come alive.